I'm going to try to make this video as quick as possible, so I'll just get to it. Uh, Mohammed Hijab interviewed Bart Ehrman, and Bart Ehrman said that Jesus died by crucifixion. So now Christian critics of Islam are taking this video that Hijab did and saying that, yeah, Bart Ehrman roasts Islam, or Bart Ehrman doesn't believe in the Quran, the Quran's account of the crucifixion of Jesus. The Quran's account of the crucifixion of Jesus is found in the Quran chapter 4, verse 157, and to a lesser degree in the Quran chapter 3, verse 55. Now, the reason why, now just making this video as short as possible, the reason why Bart Ehrman says that Jesus died by crucifixion is because Bart Ehrman is a naturalist. He's an atheist. He doesn't believe in the supernatural. So when you're an atheist and there's a man 2,000 years ago and he's crucified, the atheist conclusion is a naturalistic or non supernatural conclusion that a man living 2,000 years ago who's crucified is killed by crucifixion, because Bart Ehrman does not believe in the supernatural. He doesn't believe in God. He doesn't believe that Jesus is the Son of God like Christians believe. He doesn't believe Jesus did miracles like Muslims and Christians believe. He doesn't believe in the resurrection like Christians believe. He doesn't believe that Jesus is, part of a trinity like Christians believe. Bart Ehrman doesn't believe in like 90% of what Christians believe anyways about the supernatural, about God, etc. So when you're an atheist and you don't believe in the supernatural, when you don't believe in God, when you don't believe God can do miracles through people like Jonah and Jesus, etc., the naturalistic conclusion to this is that if a man lived 2,000 years ago and if he's crucified under the Romans, then that crucified man, given an atheistic, naturalistic view, is killed by crucifixion. Because in Bart Ehrman's view, there is no God, there is no supernatural. So the naturalistic conclusion is, yeah, if a man is crucified 2,000 years ago, he's dead, he's going to die by crucifixion. But the reason the Christians can't use this is because of his naturalistic views, because of his atheistic views. In a world where God exists, certainly God can keep Jesus alive through the torture he received before the crucifixion, like the Gospels say. The Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John say that Jesus survived the torture before he was crucified. And so, God was working through Jesus. Both Muslims and Christians believe that God was working, supernaturally through Jesus. So why can't God keep Jesus alive through the crucifixion? Again, in a world where God exists, in a world where the supernatural exists, God can simply keep Jesus alive through the crucifixion process and after the crucifixion process, after Jesus was buried in the tomb. So the Christian critics of Islam are very inconsistent here, using Bart Ehrman to try to criticize the Quran's account of the Quran's account of Jesus' crucifixion. Keep in mind, in the Quran, chapter 3, verse 55, God says, "Oh Jesus, I will take you and raise you onto myself." So God is basically saying, yeah, Jesus is going to be, Jesus is going to, the disbelievers are going to get Jesus, but God is going to, he's going to help them through it. He's going to save them through it. So the Quran chapter 4 verse 157 is not denying that Jesus wasn't crucified. It's not the Quran chapter 4 verse 157 is not saying no, there was no crucifixion of Jesus whatsoever. The Quran chapter 4 verse 157 is saying they did not kill him by any means, the by the torture or the scourging beforehand. They didn't kill him, meaning the Jews didn't kill him, and they didn't crucify him. Crucifixion in the Quran means death. And see the Quran chapter 5 verse 33, where crucified people should be killed. So the correct Arabic word of the crucifixion means death by crucifixion. So the Quran is not denying the crucifixion of Jesus. The Quran is saying, yeah, you Jews thought you killed Jesus. You thought you crucified Jesus, meaning that you thought that you killed Jesus by means of crucifixion. But no, it just looked that way. It just looked that way because God kept Jesus alive through the entire ordeal. See the Quran chapter 3 verse 55, where God is telling him, "Oh Jesus, I will take you and raise you onto myself." That means that God is going to help Jesus through the process. He's not going to allow the disbelievers, the disbelieving Jews, and the Romans to win here. He's not going to allow that. He's not going to allow the enemies of Jesus to win. So that's what and then the Quran chapter 4 verse 158 says, "And God raised him up to himself." What that means is that if you read the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, nobody sees the resurrection of Jesus. They only go to they only go to the empty tomb. The women go to the empty tomb, and then Peter goes to the empty tomb in the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and they see an empty tomb. They don't see the resurrected Jesus. They don't see Jesus come out of the tomb. So what that means is, according to the Q Gospel, which predates, the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, there was a statement in the Q Gospel that says that Jesus was assumed into heaven from the tomb. So that's why nobody sees Jesus arise out of the tomb. They're only visited later. And if you read the Gospel of Mark, chapter 16, verse 12, it says Jesus appeared in a different form. That means, and if you read the Gospel of Matthew, it says some doubted it was Jesus. So that means there was a very visionary appearance of Jesus after the crucifixion and after Jesus was put in the tomb. So I believe in the empty tomb. I believe that because like 75%, I think even more, I think 80% of New Testament scholars believe that there's an empty tomb of Jesus, et cetera, et cetera. So basically, getting back to Bart Ehrman and the natural, and getting back to the Christian critics' appeal to Bart Ehrman. Well, Bart Ehrman doesn't believe in like 90% of what you believe. He doesn't believe in God. He doesn't believe in the supernatural, et cetera, et cetera. So when you're an atheist, when you're a naturalist, when you don't believe in God, and when you don't believe in the supernatural, you're going to think, and not just Bart Ehrman, but other people, John Dominic Cross, and and other atheists. I can't think of the other atheists, Paul Frederickson, Dale Martin, all these New Testament, atheist scholars or whatever their theological view is. If you're an atheist, and if you're an atheist, if you're a liberal, if you're an anti-supernaturalist, if you're a naturalist, then if a man lived 2,000 years ago and he's crucified, your naturalistic conclusion is that he died by crucifixion, because that's the naturalistic view, or that's a naturalistic conclusion. In a world where God exists, in a world where the supernatural exists, God can certainly keep Jesus alive through crucifixion. The Christians can't deny this because they believe in the supernatural. And the other reason why they can't deny this is because God kept Jonah alive. According in the Old Testament, if you read the Old Testament story of Jonah, God kept Jonah alive through the whole, when Jonah was swallowed up by the fish. So if God can save Jonah supernaturally, um, you know, supernaturally when he was swallowed by the fish, the same logic applies to God. God can keep Jesus alive through the crucifixion, regardless of what Jesus went through before and what he was going through during, his time up on the cross. So the Quran is not denying the crucifixion of Jesus. The Quran is mocking the Jews. The Quran is saying, you Jews thought you killed him, you Jews thought you crucified him, but Allah kept him alive through the whole thing, because Allah is not going to allow these Romans and Jews to win. He's going to deceive the disbelievers because of their evilness and their hypocrisy and their disbelief. So that's the whole point. Now, when it comes to the disciples' beliefs and Paul's beliefs, and how Paul's beliefs overthrew the disciples' beliefs regarding crucifixion and resurrection of Jesus, that's a separate video. I'm trying to keep this video as short as possible. I think I'm past the 9-minute mark here. So that's basically why. So when these Christians say, well, Bart Ehrman says Jesus was crucified and died by crucifixion, and that refutes the Quran, chapter 4, verse 157, well, they're being inconsistent, because Bart Ehrman doesn't believe in the supernatural. He doesn't believe in God. He doesn't believe in miracles. So, of course, a naturalist or an atheist like Bart Ehrman is going to conclude that, if a crucified person 2,000 years ago is dead by his naturalistic views. In a world where God exists, in a world where the supernatural exists, a theist can't say that, because God works through God allows supernatural things to happen. So why can't God supernaturally keep Jesus alive through the crucifixion? That's certainly possible, just like it was possible that God kept Jonah alive when Jonah was swallowed by the whale. So that's just me commenting on this whole issue of atheist scholars saying that Jesus died by crucifixion. The Christian is being inconsistent when they use that argument. Stay tuned, more videos are coming up.